I gather that when 9/11 hit and there was the disaster there were people who were communicating back and forth to each other, and it was about the only means of communication, the BlackBerry, because of the particular nature of what it is and the network it worked on, that was still working.
That's right. A tragic day, obviously, that everybody remembers with horror still. And all the phones were down. Everybody's communications were down except the BlackBerry, because it runs through a separate system. The Research in Motion has what they call a network operating center, and all emails go through this one place, which was still secure, which was operating, and it was very helpful for the rescuers. Research in Motion quietly supplied, I think it was 1,000 Blackberries, and they used them over the next couple of days and tried to listen. They had special instrumentation to see if they could listen, if there was anybody down below still trying to send out a signal. But
I guess it's the same reason why when they have a failure, it's a failure that goes almost North American wide, because that same network operations center, if it has a problem, which just happens with technology,
sure,
affects everybody.
It's interesting because there got to be 99. It's like the old ivory soap, 99.99% pure. They're about that right in terms of up, but there was a point last year, I think it was down for 3 or 4 hours, and you'd think the world had ended. I mean, it was like a page 1 story. Nobody could send an email on their BlackBerry for 3 or 4 hours.
Well, and
so
people did go into kind of complete tremors about this. Another thing I just want to ask you, because it's interesting that one of the biggest investments that was made, or a decision that was made that helped launch the BlackBerry and really get it kind of big time into the U.S. market, was made not based on an actual demonstration of the technology, but based on wooden prototypes that were wooden, though. They didn't work at all. They were just made out of wood, and they were kind of, this is what it's going to feel like and look like, but it wasn't even a working model, and they kind of said, okay, on the basis of this, pony up, and the guys did.
Yeah. Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsley went to Atlanta, Georgia, and met with executives from Bell South, and they had spent, this was in the mid-90s, they'd spent $300 million on a network, but they didn't have anything on it. So down went the two from Research in Motion with what was really a model for what they were calling leapfrog, and they had a little screen was drawn, the keyboard was kind of drawn on there, and there was a little wheel on the side that you could actually turn, but it was made out of wood. And they made the presentation and then passed this model around, and these guys were treasuring the moment that they were able to hold this, as if they could get email automatically from this piece of wood. But it worked. Bell South placed a $70 million order, and they delivered within 6 months the real thing that actually worked.
Maybe one last question, and that's the role that celebrities have played. A couple that I remember you mentioned in the book are, of course, President Obama, who made a big deal of saying he wanted to insisted on keeping his BlackBerry when they all told him he couldn't, which is an indication of the value it has to him. And then tell us about Oprah as well.
Well, it was a major moment in the history of Research in Motion, 2003, when Oprah Winfrey held up her just recently acquired model of BlackBerry and called it one of her favorite things. And you could apparently afterwards, and Verizon and AT&T in the U.S., you could just see sales go whoomp. It was like, getting on her book club, getting mentioned on the air like that. She's a real tastemaker and drives markets.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. I remember I had one of the first ones from Roger.